and welcome to Reliving My Youth. My name is Noel Fogelman. My guest this week is voice actress, singer, comedian, Grey DeLisle. If I listed all her voice credits, we would be here for days, but here are a few of them. Emily Elizabeth on Clifford the Big Red Dog, Lola, Lana, Lily, and countless others on The Loud House, Vicky the babysitter on The Fairly Odd Parents, Azula on Avatar The Last Airbender. She also took over the voice of Daphne on Scooby-Doo and Martin Prince on The Simpsons. She's also an amazing singer. Her latest album, Grey Greene, features the insanely talented Les Greene. I never heard of him until I listened to the album. Highly recommend the album, as well as all of Grey's back catalog. I talked to her about how I discovered her music. She's awesome. Really enjoyed my conversation with Grey. And if you do as well, please rate and review the show. I would really appreciate it. Here's Grey. So Grey, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So I just want to, before we talk about the new album, which I absolutely love, I just want to go back, maybe about 20 years, how I first discovered your music.
Yeah.
I was on a business trip in, I think it was San Antonio. And it was
Okay.
just in like a used record store, and your first album was there.
Oh,
And
wow.
at that point, I knew your voiceover work. I'm like, didn't know that you were, making out, music. So
Yeah.
immediately
Yeah.
bought it, and I, fell in love with it.
Oh, thank you. Was it Homewrecker or was it the small time?
The small time.
The
Yeah.
small time. Yeah. So that really was very first. I didn't know because a lot of people think Homewrecker was my first record.
Right.
But
Yeah. No, home record. Oh man, I scream on my top of my lungs how amazingly awesome that album is, All My Friends. It is such a great album. I love Home Wrecker. Yeah, I mean, every time I listen to Dead Cat, which is I think my favorite song of yours,
Oh,
the intro, I always laugh because it sounds like an intro. It's like porn music.
There's a dead cat up the river, and he's smiling back at me. There's a dead cat up the river.
I mean,
Yes,
it's such
yes.
a great song, but yeah, so yeah, so that's how I discovered it, and it's completely random, and unfortunately, there aren't that many record stores available, around anymore,
I
which
know.
kind of suck, but yeah, support your local ones if there are any
Yeah.
around, but
But people are buying more and more vinyl. We used to make CDs. We still make CDs for
yeah,
radio, but now vinyl is so important. Now I've been making like the 180 gram vinyl again and like all the,
yeah,
bells and whistles. But we just started doing these Atmos mixes too, so
okay,
that certain like complete audiophiles can play it on their whatever system
yeah,
they have. I mean, I when they presented it to me, I sat in the middle of this room with speakers around me, and it was kind of an amazing experience. Very
yeah.
narcissistic because you're like, wow, it's me everywhere coming
Right,
out of
exactly. Right. Can't escape it. You can't
I
escape.
know,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. No, vinyl's great. It just now
Yeah,
they're so expensive because there's
I
few like,
know.
presses to make them. But
And it takes so long to make them too.
yeah.
I I have a new album coming out in October and I had to turn it in to be made vinyl like months and months ago. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I
fun.
because I'm a traditionalist. I like, seeing the artwork and like the Lord
Yes.
knows who worked on the album, the lyrics, and
Mhm.
Spotify and iTunes, that's all great, but you don't get all that stuff,
No, I know.
unfortunately. Yeah.
And a lot of times it'll depend on what the picture of whatever the album art looks like as to whether I'll buy it or not. I used to go to record stores and
Yeah.
go, this if they pick this picture, this has got to be good. There were just things that you just
Yeah.
resonated with the art, and you're like, this is a good enough endorsement. I'll buy it. And it probably will sound great based on this cover. But now you don't even know what the cover looks like anymore. But for this new record that's coming out in October, we did like a big gatefold, and
Right.
everything. Even for the CD, it has like a poster that unfolds with
Oh,
all
that's
the
awesome.
credits because there were some really good credits. I was like Bob Glob, who played with like
Okay.
everyone,
Yeah.
the Eagles and Linda Ronstadt and John Lennon, and he's played with everybody. So I wanted to
Yeah.
brag about the players a little bit. So
No, absolutely. And it's great because like, those people need their props too. I
yeah,
mean, I figure with streaming those, they're all those great, musicians kind of get, kind of tossed by the wayside.
I always go to the credits to see who played, at least songwriter wise. I always want to know who wrote things. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that at least on Apple iTunes you can click. I'm not sure about
Yeah.
Spotify because I don't do Spotify, but I
Right.
do Apple, and I can always click on the credits. So that's good.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
Gray and Green, which I absolutely love. I never, heard about Les Greene before, and thank you for introducing me because he's a
Wow.
powerhouse on that album, and I love how it's kind of a balance between you taking lead and then
Be all him with one duet on it. I
okay,
was just going to duet on the album, but I wrote all these songs for him to sing. But he got so busy, as I was saying, he before the interview really officially started, I was telling you that he's the first runner up of the NPR Tiny Desk contest, and so he went on tour. He's on tour right now with
okay,
NPR. And so I was like trying to get him back in the
yeah,
studio to do the rest of the songs, and he was like, "Gray, I just don't have time. Why don't you sing the other half, and we'll do like a duo record?" And
yeah.
I'm like, a lot of the songs are very geared toward him singing. So I feel like a very white girl singing some of these songs, but I had to do what I had to do. And I was like, hey, we both have color names. So Gray and Green, it'll be great.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Go do your thing and I'll just ride your coattails. So,
No,
but
absolutely. I mean,
but the
I think
songs
it's
were all
perfect.
written for him to sing.
Okay,
So yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I know you're like a real prolific songwriter now, but is this kind of like the first time you've written for somebody else?
Yeah, it kind of is. I mean, a lot of times, sometimes I'll write like for dead artists. I'll just be in my head going, "What would I write if I could write a song for Buddy Holly right now? What would I write if I could write a song for George
Yeah.
Jones right now?" I mean, like that, but I've never written for someone that's actually alive.
Right.
But Les is just such an incredible singer, and his live performance. If you can see him play live, I mean, he does cartwheels and gets out in the audience, and like the audience just completely loses it. It's you cannot follow him. I
R-
People have wanted us to do double bills, and I was like, if I can go first,
Exactly.
okay, but I cannot go after him. He's like a star. He's just
Yeah.
incredible. He did the voice of Little Richard in the Elvis movie that
Okay.
came out a few years ago. So that's kind of how I first heard about him. And then I saw him play live at the Ameripolitan Awards that I was hosting, and I was just like, this guy's incredible. And then at the airport on my flying back from the Ameripolitans, I just couldn't stop. Like all these songs were popping into my head that would be, that I could write for him. So I finished all these songs, and then I told him, look, I've got a whole album's worth of songs for you if you ever want to record them. And he didn't, I sent them to him and he didn't really respond for a while. And I thought, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. That was a little presumptuous. Maybe he's, cause he's a songwriter as well. So I thought, oh, I hope he's not insulted that I'm sending him. But then he said, I'm so sorry. I was in Europe, but I just got your message and I love these songs and let's do it. So, and then James Infeld stepped in, and he's just such a great producer and plays everything. He played almost all the instruments on it, even some of the horns and the, Hammond organ and drums and bass. And, James is a songwriter and incredible performer on it in his own right, but he's his secret talent is producing. And he always, when he's on a record, he secretly kind of produces it because he'll have ideas, or he'll go, well, what if we did this little bass line? And it always makes the song so good. And then some other big giant producer takes credit for it. So I was like, we're not doing that again. You're getting producer credit, and because you're incredible. So yeah.
Do you produce your own stuff?
No, I always work with people that I love, and I mean, I have a ton of input. People always say you should take a producer credit, like at least co-produce, because you're, half of those ideas were yours. But I don't know. I don't want to take credit, especially if it's bad. I don't want people to blame me.
Yeah, exactly.
I want them to go, poor Gray. If she had the right producer, it would have been amazing. But
yeah. Because he reminds me a little bit of Sam Cooke.
When I wrote That's All, because he does some Sam Cooke covers. He was on American Idol briefly, and he's saying Change Gonna Come. And I was like, oh man, I want to write a Sam Cooke style song for him to just knock out of the park, which he absolutely did. So if you hear That's All, I was going for Sam Cooke when I wrote that for him.
Gonna be
you hope to work with him again, I imagine.
I would love to write more songs for him. I've given up on performing with him though, because he's I mean, I we just play different kinds. He's
Yeah,
just a complete huge powerhouse. He's gonna be playing stadiums. I like to play like little intimate venues, I
yeah,
love like McCabe's and just very acoustic style
yeah.
venues, because a lot of my writing for me is just complete storytelling. For him I wrote
Mm,
in styles that I've never written in before. My stuff is very storyteller type, George Jones, Dolly Parton,
yeah.
that kind of stuff. Emmylou Harris. So I'll just
Mm,
admire him from afar. And if he ever needs more songs, I every now and again I stick some more vinyl out on the patio for him to pick up to sell at his shows. And I'm
yeah,
just glad to be affiliated with him in some way.
right. No,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, and I mentioned how I absolutely love Homewrecker, but then there
Oh,
was like a nice gap between Homewrecker and then your latest, or one of your latest albums, I should
yeah.
say. Was that just because of all the other voiceover work, or was that
Well,
just
kind of.
Mhm.
After Homewrecker, I got signed to Sugar Hill Records,
Okay?
and Dolly Parton was on the label,
Mm,
Rodney Crowell, Guy Clark. It had like all some of my heroes.
mm,
And I was doing well there. I did two full albums. I put on an album called Iron Flowers
right.
and kind of a bluegrass mountain music where I was playing my auto harp quite a bit called The Graceful Ghost, and that
Mhm.
those were both on Sugar Hill. And then I got this weird writer's block slash stage fright slash I just
Oh
couldn't
wow.
perform at all. I couldn't write, I couldn't sing, and I just froze up. And for 20 years, I just thought, well, I guess that's gone. Because I used to write songs almost, every couple days or at least a few
Mhm.
songs a week, and
Yeah.
I just thought it was just this endless portal you could just take ideas out of, and it was just always
Mm,
going to be there. I took it for granted, and then it just completely went away. And not until the pandemic did it come back. In the meantime, I had three kids, and the oldest is a sophomore in college now, or actually starting his junior year in September. And I hadn't written anything since then. But when the pandemic happened, my brother moved in, and he plays guitar, and he said, "Look, we're not
wow.
doing anything. Get your auto harp. Let's
Yeah.
play some music." And I said, "I have not touched that in 20 years. I
Wow.
I." I haven't sang or anything. And he said, let's just play covers.
Mm,
You don't have to write songs. Let's play covers. And we wrote, I mean, we just played every night
yeah.
covers. And then I actually ended up dreaming a song. So I don't know if you've heard any of the stuff that's come out since then, but I put out a double album last year
For
called
the
the
Gray
Gray
album.
Album.
Yep.
Yeah. But the song Take Me Dancing Again,
Okay.
I woke up like singing that little waltz. And so I
Mm,
sang it into my phone, sent it to my brother, texted it to him. He was in the back house. He moved in. And
yeah.
he's like, "Oh my gosh." And I
Yeah.
said, "Is that already something?" And he goes, "No, that's great. You're back. Oh my gosh." So then the next night I wrote something, the
Huh.
next night I wrote something. And then well, since then I've put out a whole children's album,
Yep.
an album called She's an Angel, an album called Driftless Girl that I did with Jolie Holland and Buck Meek, and then the double album, the Gray album. I also did a covers album called
Yeah.
Borrowed,
Borrowed.
because I had
Yep.
been playing a bunch of covers with my
Yeah.
brother. And yeah, so that's almost five albums in what, 6 years. So
So you're making
yeah.
up for lost time there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, it was six albums in 6 years, because there's this one, and then I've got six albums that are recorded as well that haven't come out yet. I did two records at the Cash Cabin with
Okay.
John Carter, who's the son of Johnny and June,
Right.
and then I did two albums in Texas, again produced by James Intveld, and I did two albums that Andy Paley, who does all the music or did all the music for SpongeBob, and who
Right.
produced the Ramones and Brian Wilson and Patti
Yeah.
Smith and all these amazing people. But he passed away,
I know.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh, what a legend. He was just a genius. And I feel lucky that we were able to get two full albums captured. But it was just such a loss. What a wonderful
Yeah.
person he was. So yeah. So anyway, the songs just keep
Mm,
coming, and I'm still writing, and I was
yeah.
working on something today actually. So yeah.
Right. So when you
Yeah.
have like all those albums like in the can, like how's like strategic you got to be with releasing them? Like you don't want to like oversaturate, but you
I
don't want to keep
know.
holding them, for too
But I
long.
can't. It's been a real tight walk, because I used to have a distributor that was wonderful and always working my songs, but they
Mm,
told me, "Gray, you're just putting out too much stuff. You got to, you can do one album a year. That would be ideal."
yeah.
And I'm like, they just keep piling up, and I just feel like I'm sitting on these little nests, and
Yeah.
I'm not a 20-year-old anymore either. I
Right.
want to like be able to tour these
Yeah.
albums. So I ended up leaving them, and I just distribute everything myself. I
Okay.
am my own label, and my label says that I can put out two albums a
Good.
year.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
And I tour in Europe twice a year, and they seem to be okay with their.
Yeah.
I mean, they said as long as there's no filler, and I feel like I'm pretty picky about what I put on. I don't record every single thing I
Yeah.
write, so I feel like I'm picky about what I record. I
Okay.
put only the stuff that I think is worthy of being on a record.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
yeah, but I've been writing with Paul Williams, who wrote Rainbow Connection, and We've Only
Okay.
Just Begun, and he's the president of ASCAP, and we've written some beautiful songs together. So those I haven't recorded those yet. So
Yeah.
there's even more stuff to come, and
Yeah.
it's getting better. To me, I feel like I'm getting better and better and growing as a writer too. So
That's
lots
awesome.
to come,
Yeah.
lots to come.
Right. Good. Good. Are you like ever tempted to kind of go back to those albums that are like in the can and tinker with them, or are you like
No, I'm
just want
pretty
to avoid?
happy.
Okay.
I'm pretty I don't until the song is like done to my satisfaction, I don't sign off on it. So
Okay.
there have been things that we've redone because I'm like, it's great how it is, but it's just not the right feel for what I'm trying to say. Like everything production wise was amazing and polished, and it was a great groove and everything. But I'm like, but it's just this is a sad song, and this song sounds like a party, and
Yeah.
it's a party that I want to go to, but it's just not serving the lyrics. So there've been some things that we've re-recorded, but thankfully, since I own the record
Mm.
label and I'm my own distributor
Yeah.
and financing everything myself, I can be the boss.
Right. Yeah.
And be
Exactly.
bossy.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you prefer, I mean, writing sad songs over like happy?
I tend to just gravitate toward
Yeah.
that. I like to listen to happy ones. There are a lot of my albums I don't even listen to. I don't listen to The Graceful Ghost.
Okay.
And I don't play a lot of those songs live because they're bummers.
Yeah.
You can only write so many dead baby songs, Gray.
Yeah.
But yeah, but Gray and Green has been a fun record. That was
Yeah.
I think maybe because I was writing for somebody else, but a lot of my friends have said, this is a record that I put on over and over again because it's a feel good album. So I never think about that when because it's weird. Songs sort of just come to me how they are, like kind of fully formed almost. It's
Yeah.
almost like childbirth or something where I'm like, oh, I'm writing a song. Oh, it's coming, it's coming.
Yeah.
And I have to just pretty much write it down.
Yeah.
It just kind of comes out. So I'm not trying to write sad songs, but sad songs seem to find me. So
Yeah. Yeah. Has the process changed since like the 20-year gap at all?
No,
No?
a lot of times I'll wake up with a fully formed song. And sometimes it's gibberishy. Like I'll record it into my phone, and I get the structures right, but there's some lines that are just kind of gibberish, and then as they come into focus, it's like, oh, that's not that word, it's this word. It's almost like it's just everything sharpens and you realize what the gibberish is. It
Hmm.
really is this different word, but it's such a strange thing. It's different from a lot of my friends who write because they put so much effort in and like sitting down and really like Rodney Crowell spends years, on songs and really fine tuning and fine tuning and fine tuning. And I almost feel guilty, I have presented things to him where he's like, have you thought about this or what about that? And I'm just thinking, well, I don't know. I just feel like this is how it is. And I do change things though when he tells
Okay.
me because he's a master. I have
Right.
changed things and he gives amazing notes, but I feel it's funny even running things by him because it just kind of plopped out. The song came out full, just
Mm.
how it is. And
Mm.
I didn't put a ton of thought into it. So
Right. Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, that's really good. And it's like,
Mhm.
but I'm not complimenting myself. I'm complimenting whatever it was that did that
The
because it wasn't
inspiration
me.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't me. Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like one of my like favorite sad songs by you is Daddy, Can You Fix a Broken Heart?
oh,
And then,
thank
I hear that, I'm like, I never want to have to, console my daughter.
Daddy, can you fix a broken heart? I got a talking dolly when I was 5. She wouldn't talk at all when I pulled her string. I rushed into your workshop with teardrops in my eyes, and you said, I can fix near anything. Daddy, can you fix a broken heart? Mama fell to pieces. She's crying dark. I can't put her back together, 'cause you're the missing part. Oh, Daddy, can you fix a broken heart? You gave me a toy spaceship that lit up when it flew. The boy next door crashed it out of spite. You put it back together with a little bit of glue, and you said, darling, it'll be all right. Daddy, can you fix a broken heart? Mama fell to pieces. She's crying in the dark. I can't put her back together, 'cause you're the missing part. Oh, Daddy, can you fix a broken? Daddy, I was just hoping. Daddy, can you fix a broken heart?
With that, I'm sure it's going to happen. She's 16. It's going to happen, but it's just like immediately go to that
Yeah.
mindset.
Yes, yes. Yeah, that one, that kind of came out in about 20 minutes. But I had been thinking about how daddies fix a lot of things, and how, because we would just take these broken toys, and my dad would always like make everything better, and
Yeah.
how, there's some things dads can't fix,
That's true. Yeah.
and some things dads caused.
Oh,
So behave yourself. No,
yeah, exactly.
I'm kidding.
Exactly. Yeah. Trust me, I know. Yeah. Either I'm on the shit list or the good list, and that could be within an hour,
Yes, yes.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Meanwhile.
Yeah, right. And you mentioned the Borrow album, and your cover of Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall is so haunting, beautiful. It's so beautiful. And I love like covers where the opposite sex will sing it. And I
Yeah.
just nailed it. So like what brought you to that song?
That song, we were in San Diego, and we had seen the border wall that had gone up for the first time, and um I mean, we always had some kind of a barrier there, but not like what we saw, and it was just so upsetting, because
Yeah.
I'm Mexican and Dutch, and so half of my family is Mexican, and we used to just travel so freely across the border. I grew up in Chula Vista, which was,
Okay.
if you spaced out while you were driving to our house, you would be like, oh no, we're in Tijuana. It was
Right.
just, it just happened. And I just thought, like, wow, the wall means something totally different to me now.
Yeah.
So I thought it was kind of an apropos time to talk about that and revisit that whole concept. So we filmed a little video along the border down there,
Yeah.
and got some great players on that. So
No,
and
that's
and
awesome.
Marvin, of course, Marvin Etzioni, he's a
Oh yeah.
genius. I
I
love
was gonna
him.
bring him up because I love Lone Justice.
Yes.
Yeah, it was great.
Yes, Lone
Yeah.
Justice, so good. Well, and now Marvin had, I know you haven't heard the new record yet, but Andy, when he passed, we had all these basic tracks, and I didn't know what to do, because
Yeah.
there's nobody else is Andy Paley, but Marvin was the closest to Andy Paley I could think of. They have a lot of the same references. It was funny because the engineer goes, well, Andy loved mono, and he was considering doing a mono mix of the album. And I go, I know who we need to hire. We need to hire Marvin Etzioni. He'll help
Yeah.
us do it. And he goes, really? Do you think he'll be cool with the mono thing? And I go, his license plate says big mono. That's
Oh,
what his
that's
license
funny.
plate is. So there were a lot of moments where Marvin goes, we should put castanets on this,
Yeah.
and the engineer Jake would say, Andy already recorded castanets. They're right here. And it was
Yeah.
exactly where Marvin was thinking of doing it. So it was almost like Marvin was kind of channeling Andy. So it really is a co-production between Marvin and Andy. So, and the whole time I was working with Andy, I kept going, you have to meet Marvin Etzioni. You
Yeah.
guys are like twins separated at birth. You have the same kind of Phil Spector ideas about things. And
Right.
not all things, but music things.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, yeah. Keep
Yeah,
the
right.
guns at home. We'll keep the guns and lock
Yeah,
it up.
exactly. The
Um,
positive things. Yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah.
good things. The good
Yeah.
things.
You know,
So
I got to try to get Marvin on. I would love to have him on. He's great. Yeah.
he would. Oh, I'm sure he would do it in a second.
Yeah.
I'll share your info with
Oh,
him.
perfect. Yeah. I'd
Yeah,
really like that.
wonderful.
Yeah. So how did you meet him?
I was at a cartoon studio
Okay.
doing the small time. I had just finished recording the small time, um and I needed a mandolin player. And somebody said, "Oh, you got to hire the mandolin man." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, the mandolin man." They said he's Marvin Etzioni. He was in the band called Lone Justice. And I was like, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, don't toss me away." And "You Are the Light" are two of my favorite
Yeah.
songs of all time. And he wrote "You Are the Light," and I just we hit it off immediately. And he just became my absolute soul brother. And we just started writing together. And he ended up producing every album up until I started working with, well, up until like 2022 or something. I mean, I made like 6 albums with Marvin after that. So yeah, he produced this. Well, he ended up kind of after the fact adding a bunch of things to the small time because it was just a complete bare bones album when
Right.
I was recording it at the cartoon studio. And and then he said, then we made Homewrecker, and then he said, "Hey, Sugar Hill's interested." And he kind of walked me through that process because that was kind of intimidating. But then we toured Europe together. We did all kinds of things. Then we did The Graceful Ghost together, and a live album called Bootlegger together, which
Yeah.
I can't stand Bootlegger. It's embarrassing. But everybody has an album that you're like, don't play that. But of
Yeah.
course, I've got like 5,000 of them in my attic. I'm like, but I
Right.
don't want to give them away because I'm not proud of it. So I'm like, I don't even
Oh,
want to give them away. I'm like, can we
yeah.
just forget this? Um, but
I'm sure if you sold them for like $5-6, you'd make some money.
yeah, but I don't even want people to hear it because
No.
I'm embarrassed of them. It's weird. It's a weird
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
I probably should just get rid of them or use them, make a coffee table or something out of them.
Right.
But yeah, no, but he is still one of my best friends. He's the godfather of my kids, and
Oh, that's great.
he's wonderful. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So like, how do you like when you say you work with him for like, a certain amount of albums? How do you decide on like which producers you'd want to work with?
Well, during the pandemic, I met Eddie Clendenning, and we were just friends online over, while we were all quarantining, and that's when we decided to
Mm,
write a bunch of kids songs. So he would have ideas for songs for our kids album. We formed a band called the Roughhousers, and we made
right.
an album for kids called Princess
Yep.
Mike.
Yep.
And Deke Dickerson produced it and everything. But we had DJ Bonebreak from X on drums, and we had all these really big, really good. Murray, my ex-husband from Old
Okay.
97s, was playing
Yep.
bass. And we after the world opened up again, they were way too successful to be playing with us. So it
Right.
kind of fell flat because
Okay.
we got invited to play a few festivals, and we were like,
Yeah.
oh, we can't because DJ's playing this giant thing, and Murray's on tour in Europe, and
Yeah.
oh well. But I really hit it off with Eddie, and he was such a good live performer, and he said, let's form a band and play these songs that we've been writing. We'll play them live for people. And I was a little afraid because of my stage fright that had happened back when I was,
Yeah.
I was on tour in Europe when it hit me, and I had to leave the tour. I had to pay the promoter a bunch of money. It was awful. And so I was just scared. But then Eddie's just been performing since he was like 12 years old, and he's just a complete pro. And I always call him my little feather. Like I'm Dumbo and he's my little feather because he
Yeah.
just gives me this courage to perform. I'm when I'm playing with Eddie, I'm not afraid. So we started playing a bunch of live gigs. So he had his own band, the Blue Ribbon Boys. So I just sort of kind of usurped his band. I mean, they still play with Eddie, but
Right.
when I play, they're my band. So
Yeah.
yeah, thank goodness they were a ready-made band. They already were tight with each other, and all we had to do was just pretty much learn my songs, and it was and we went on tour in Europe, and it went really well, and we've been invited back, over and over every year for the past 4 years or so.
Uh,
So
that's
yeah.
great. How often do you play in the States?
We had a residency downtown in Los Angeles up until this last month, just because we were playing,
Yeah.
we were actually in Europe. So I was like, we have to end our residency because we just have too many other things. But this weekend we're playing in Marina Del Rey. And the next weekend I'm playing with Deke Dickerson. We're doing a Dickerson and DeLisle thing. We're opening for Big Sandy at
Okay.
Godmother's. And but I play about 3 times a month here in Los Angeles. And when I go do conventions, sometimes I play in the city that I'm playing
Oh,
in because
smart.
I do
Yeah.
those cartoon conventions where I sign
Yeah.
autographs and stuff, so it pays for the records.
Oh, good. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Your side hustle. Yeah.
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 Oh, but what I was saying is I started working with Eddie, and so Eddie produced he produced I mean She's an Angel, and along with Deke Dickerson, and then I started working with Jolie Holland, and she
Okay.
produced Driftless Girl with Buck Meek, and then so I felt like I was kind of cheating on Marvin a little bit. I told
Right.
Marvin, I was like, I feel like I've been married to you my whole life, and now we're taking a break, and I'm
Yeah.
just working with everybody. And then I worked with Andy, which was a totally even a different experience, and working with John Carter and working with James Intveld. It's been fun.
Yeah.
Working with different producers is just such a fun thing. It's
Right.
like everybody works differently, and um, yeah, so I might work with Ken Coomer. I just was talking to him the other day.
Mhm.
He played drums in Wilco, and he was in the
Okay.
Eels, and he wants to do sort of a Amy Winehouse
Okay.
meets Hank Williams kind of thing. He's
Right.
out in Nashville, and I was in Nashville, so he's like, "Hey, your name came up, and I would love to
Yeah.
work with you." And I was like, "I'm a huge fan of yours, so yeah, let's." So that's all in the early stages right now. We haven't
Right.
recorded anything or anything, but there's
Mhm.
just always music around the corner.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, because like all your albums are like so different. So I mean,
Yeah,
is it kind of like hard then to kind of like pigeonhole you into like one particular genre? Do your fans kind of get like annoyed, like, hey, Homewrecker might be different than, April
yeah.
Flowers or whatever, or something like that. Is it kind of hard?
I don't know if my fans get frustrated because I think they kind of know to not what to expect is
Expect the
just to
unexpected,
expect the
right? Yeah.
unexpected. Yeah, but I know that some reviewers get frustrated and go, "This
Okay.
she needs to stick to country. She, when she tries to, all this
Yeah.
other stuff dilutes her country voice or whatever." And I'm like, I don't know. I always say I like to make records that I want to be an artist that sounds like a great record collection. So,
Right.
because I don't
Yeah.
no great record collection is all Kinks or all Hank
Exactly.
Williams or all
Right.
Beatles. I mean it's a lot of different things, and so I just
Yeah.
want my records to sound like a good record collection.
No,
Yeah.
that's great. Absolutely, because mine is like all over the place. So you don't want to have,
Yeah.
this, yeah. And you mentioned Princess Mike, and I kind of showed my youngest son's preschool when he was in preschool that album to
Yeah.
play, and
Yeah.
he loved that they played Monkey Butt and all those songs. It was great. I love that.
Oh,
Yeah. So
I kind of revisited it recently because a friend of mine, we were talking about a boy named Sue, and then I showed him Toenail Soup. And oh
okay.
my gosh, but my
Yeah.
kids helped me write Toenail Soup because I said, just help me think of a bunch of the grossest things you can think of. And my
Yeah.
kids helped me so much with those kids
Yeah.
songs because at the time I was homeschooling them because we were, not back in school yet. So
Yeah.
I would put these silly teacher glasses on and like just try to teach them things. And so I I just kind of got in the mindset of what, kids like or what can keep them interested in
Yeah.
because it's hard to keep them focused.
That's for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, you had to kind of make them laugh. And so I thought if we make funny songs and not pander to kids,
Yeah.
make them funny and make them things that adults, don't plug their ears when they come on, because we don't listen to kid music at our house. I would always just play
Yeah.
music that they would just like. I played
Right.
Johnny Cash, and I play, Octopus's Garden, and and Rocky Raccoon, and just
Yeah.
any kind of things that sounded kind of like kids music but
Yeah.
were adult music. A lot of um we did Effervescing Elephant,
Okay.
Sid Barrett. Anyway, just any kind of fun, whimsical, good songs. But so yeah, they did. I have to give my kids credit for helping me a lot with that
Yeah.
record.
That's all. Yeah. Because kids, they tend to come up with a lot of gross things. So,
Yes, they like
credit
that
to
gross
them. Yeah.
and yes.
Yeah. So my oldest son, he just graduated college. He's 21 now, and your career kind of was like multi-generational in our house. So
Yeah.
when he was maybe about 18 months, my mother-in-law gave him a Clifford doll.
Oh my
And for like the next, I don't know how many years, 4 years, he carried that
goodness.
everywhere. He
Oh
still has it in his room. It's in like a basketball hoop hanging in his room.
yes.
21 years
Oh my
old. So we fell in love with the TV show and,
that is
voicing Emily Elizabeth and like love that show. I mean, like it's a good,
yes.
wholesome kid show. And people really didn't realize that John Ritter voiced Clifford.
Yes, I
Yeah.
know. They had so much trouble finding the voice for Clifford because, I mean, it's like a man voice kind of
Yeah.
hanging out with this little girl all day, and
Yeah.
a lot of people just sounded kind of creepy. But John Ritter is such a sweet, like, well, was such a just a
Yeah.
dear, dear, sweet person that it just worked. But Yeah, every weekend I go sign autographs, and these big giant kids, I'm like, if I start going, Clifford, where are you? They just like, they just turn into a little baby, and it's so fun to see. And they still run that show with
Yeah,
me doing the voice. So new kids every year are getting, exposed to it. So there's a lot of parents that bring their toddlers in and go, they're watching Clifford now, and
yeah,
yeah, so it's very flattering and fun, and yeah. And Avatar too, people,
right.
grew up with Avatar, and now they're sharing it with their own kids, which I have been text my guy who's like going to be a junior in college. I
Yeah.
was pregnant with him during
Okay.
Avatar, so he got teased in high school and stuff being the spawn of Azula, and
Oh, wow.
and both of my younger kids have wanted to watch it with me, so I've watched it with them, and but I'd not seen it until I watched it with my kids.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's great. I'm 51 going on probably 8 years old. So we
Yeah,
were
yeah.
watching The Loud House last week.
Oh, yes. We
And
love the Loud House
oh
here too.
yeah, such a good show. And he went to a comic book convention this past week and he wanted to, because he loves Star Wars, we both do.
Yeah, yeah,
So all like James Arnold Taylor was there and all the, Ashley Eckstein. So he wanted to
yeah.
get them signed in a big poster and also Catherine Tabrett was there. So it's also,
Yes. My
great applause
loud
for
sister.
the Loud House. Yeah. So how many of the
Yes.
kids do you actually voice on that show?
Oh, I do Lily, and I do Lola, and I do Lana, and I do Cheryl, the lady who works in the office, and I do Mrs. Bernardo, the acting teacher, and I do that lady who's very, very nervous. She's the mother of one of the kids, and she's always looking for aliens. Uh, and I do Coach Cat. Come on, kids, get on your knees and do some sit-ups. And I do Scoots, a little old lady on the scooter, and all kinds of things. Yeah, I don't. If I ever decided to strike or something on that show, I think I could probably get whatever I want because I do like 12 characters.
Right.
They'd
Yeah.
have to pay me. They'd have to pay 12 other actors.
Right. Yeah.
So,
So how does that, I mean, not that I'm asking how much you make on that show, but
no.
so how does that work though? When you go for like, negotiate, you have so many characters on that show.
Well, and when you first sign the contract, they build in the bumps. Like for first season, you'll get this little tiny raise. Second season,
Okay.
you'll get this little. Yeah, so that you can't. So
Yeah.
you sign that so that you don't have them over a barrel because I think they
Right.
learned the lesson with the Rugrats. Those ladies
Oh
didn't
yeah.
sign. They held them over the coals.
Yeah.
God bless them though. Um, but I make. I mean, I make a set fee for the first two voices. Then if for the third voice, you get a 10% bump. And then for the fourth voice, you get paid again. Like for
Yeah.
so sometimes I'm making, and we've gotten several raises because it's been on for,
Been for a while now. Yeah.
yeah, my son, who's the college kid, he was Lincoln for a couple seasons.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, so I think it's the fourth season, you'll see Tex Hammond in the credits.
Well, that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah. So like, do you have like kind of like a guide on like how you're going to voice them, or they just tell you, just come up with something interesting?
Yeah, I just know that they'll just give you a picture sometimes or just
Okay.
explain kind of the characteristics of the thing, and you just kind of do your thing, do whatever you
Yeah.
think works.
Right.
Yeah. And then they pick you or they don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they reject any of the characters on that show that you tried to do?
Uh, Usually I try a few things and then they go, "Oh, we love that." Like,
Yeah.
with Cheryl, I was like, "Could I do a Southern thing?" And they're like, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that sounds good." And then they started writing her, like, "Hey, sugar," like really writing it really Southern.
Yeah.
And Coach Keck, I made her from the Midwest because I just thought it would be
Right.
cute. And also I was running out of voices. I was like, we got to get another accent on here because,
Yeah.
I've done like every age and every voice and
Hmm.
every accent. And so,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So now, how often do you actually be in the room with the other voice actors in any of the shows? Does that happen?
hardly
No.
ever now.
Yeah.
Now we're usually, well, everyone else is remote. I've been going into
Yeah.
Nickelodeon, but everyone else is at home. So it's,
Okay.
it's kind of sad actually. It used to be such a bustling environment. Now it's just like it looks like
Yeah.
a ghost town over there.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean,
but
at
the good
least,
part is we can work from anywhere now. So I'm trying to take advantage of that because my kids, I wanted to expose them to a different country, and so we're going to
yeah.
go and live in Costa Rica next year for a
Oh,
while.
nice.
And so my kids are going to have already gotten accepted to the school there and
Oh, that's
everything. And
great.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, I figured since I can work from anywhere, why not
As long as
let the
there's an internet
kids
connection,
be
right?
here?
Yeah.
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So how often have you like voiced a character when you're like touring with your band?
I try not to. I mean, I
Okay.
only do it if it's like a total emergency.
Yeah.
But my agent's able to usually schedule around me because we leave for maybe 2 weeks. We
Oh,
hardly
okay.
leave for
Right.
longer than
Right.
that. So usually they can just go, we're gonna get all your stuff done before you leave. But I
Yeah.
have occasionally like done an emergency session maybe once or twice. So,
Yeah.
but
Right.
yeah, that's only if they're like, we made a mistake and we didn't realize that you have this
Yeah.
one line or something. So
Right. Yeah. Another show that my son and I just crack up and we still watch, and it hasn't been on for quite some time now, is Fairly Odd Parents.
yes,
And I mean, besides SpongeBob, I think that's probably the best show on Nickelodeon.
it was really funny,
Yeah.
so clever, and yeah, I sign stuff for Fairly Odd Parents every weekend.
Yeah.
Everybody loves it. The Tootie got a pop, and I think Vicky's getting a pop.
Okay.
Um, and anyway, but the Tooth Fairy got one, so I've been
Yeah.
signing a lot of Fairly Odd Parents pops.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. So what's the
Yeah.
most like popular character you usually sign for?
Azula.
Azula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dress up like her every weekend, and she's
Yeah.
definitely the most popular by far. In the second place would be Daphne from Scooby-Doo.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Cheapers. Yeah, I do my Daphne cosplay, and me and Kate McCucci, she's Velma,
Hmm.
and we do a lot of cons together. So
Yeah. So I mean, like, was it difficult, coming into that role?
it
With it being
was
already
it,
established? Yeah.
well, it was doubly difficult. It's always difficult to take over a role, but one of my best friends, Mary Kay Bergman, who had played it
Yeah.
before me, and she had passed away, so it was really such a bittersweet time because I didn't really even want to audition for the role, but her husband really encouraged me because he said, she taught you how to voice match, and she would have wanted you to do this, Grace. She loved you, and
Yeah.
and it just seemed so weird at the time to be doing, I was still grieving, but now I'm so glad I did it because I just feel her with me all the time, and
That's
it's
great.
just been
Yeah.
such a wonderful thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, she's my
Yeah.
guardian angel now.
Right.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
same thing I'd imagine like with Martin Prince on The Simpsons, right?
Yes, with Rucy. Yes, I
Yeah.
loved Rucy so much. And sometimes when I'm having trouble, or I'm like, oh gosh, because I'm used to Martin usually only has a few lines, but I did a big episode where where he's like goes to that bad kid camp and everything has like a
Yeah.
breakdown and everything, and that was difficult because I was like, wow, I've only ever done a few lines here or there. This is like a
Yeah.
whole thing, and I really did talk to Rucy in my head and goes, Rucy, just be there with me and help me get through this. And
Yeah.
I felt her with me. So yeah, I've got two great little guardian angels on each shoulder. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Do your kids kind of like have a favorite character that you do?
um we don't they don't They don't watch it very much
Okay.
television. We're kind of a Waldorf family.
Okay.
There's some television. They
Yeah.
did ask to watch Avatar with me, so we did
Okay.
that. We do like a special thing with each other each week. With each of them, I do something special each
Yeah.
week. So Avatar was what my middle son and I decided to do, and
Yeah.
but we don't do very much media. So that they like to they play instruments and they love to
Okay.
draw, and
Oh,
we do
great.
a lot of like games. We have a lot of games, like a giant cabinet full of all kinds of games that we do probably every night. So yeah, so they
Yeah.
did like Loud House for a while too. I've let them watch that. The good thing
Yeah.
about being on so many things is that I know if it's appropriate for them to be watching. Like
Right.
they heard about Invincible and I was like, nope, not until you're an adult.
Yeah,
Sorry,
exactly.
too
Yeah.
much. It's just yeah.
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
times like when you actually maybe are by yourself and you can like flip on the TV, can you actually watch yourself? Or I should say just listen to yourself do these
I
characters?
I can, but I don't watch much television.
Yeah.
I'm not as interested in that as I am in like writing. I love
Yeah.
writing songs. So if I have time to myself, I'm writing
You're doing
songs.
that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I always have my auto harp somewhere around so I can even today like figure out what key something was in or what I was just noodling around on something I've been working on. And um but my boyfriend and I were at a hotel in Boston. He came and visited
Okay.
me. He lives in New York City, so he came and visited me, and when we woke up in the morning he turned on the TV while I was in the shower, and I came out and he goes, "Hey, Scooby-Doo." And it was we watched Scooby. I mean, he's like, is that you?" And I
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, that's me." And it was an old one with Casey Kasem and
Oh,
everything in
wow.
it. So I got to tell him some fun Casey stories, and yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
he's an actor too. So but in a totally different way. He does
Yeah.
Broadway and movies and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So it's nice to be like we understand each other, but we're still in different worlds,
Yeah.
like so. Yeah, he
Right.
understands the music, but he does sing, but it's like Broadway stuff instead of rock and roll,
Okay.
so,
Right. Yeah.
or country. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Would you
yeah.
ever consider going back to kind of like live like TV and stuff?
I would. Yeah, I would. I mean, it's funny because we went and saw a movie, The Invite. You have to see it.
Okay.
Olivia Wilde directed it, and it has
Right.
Edward Norton, Penelope Cruz, and Olivia Wilde, and Seth Rogen.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's just
Okay.
this really cool little character drama about these two couples that have dinner together at an apartment. It all takes place at an
Yeah.
apartment, and it was so good. And we left, and I was like, let's make a movie. Let's write a movie and make something. I
Yeah.
mean, I have done a few little films and a few little things, and I did TV when I first started,
Yeah.
and did stand up, and so I still do love that. There's so many things to do, but every now and again I do a stand up special. So I've been working on some new jokes and stuff. But right now I'm still I have ADHD, so I always say it's like rotating the crops. I have to like focus on voiceover, then I
Yeah.
focus on songwriting, then I focus on comedy, then
Yeah.
so I have been getting
I
more
saw the
excited.
stand-up one. I think it's on Amazon, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
my first comedy special.
Yeah.
Then I have
Yeah.
another one on YouTube called Thruple. If you, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. I'll have to check out. Yeah, no, it's
yeah,
great. Yeah.
yeah.
So like when you go to these conventions, what's like the most popular voice you have to do?
Azula.
Azula
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. I do these long speeches as Azula. I know every
Mhm.
line as Azula. I know
Yeah.
almost every line that anybody asks for. I know it by heart. So they're always like, oh my
Yeah.
God, you still know it. Uh-oh, my battery's dying.
Oh,
Put it in low power mode.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't keep it too much longer, so it's okay. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So have you had anyone like have you like prank somebody with a voice?
I when I was married to my youngest children's dad, he
Yeah.
got on Tumblr for me. Like he was kind of running my Tumblr.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what Tumblr was, but he used to go, "You should do this thing where you're pretending that you're, pranking people or calling and ordering pizza and
Yeah.
stuff." We were having a bunch of fun with it for a while, and then he was on some medication that he ended up getting off of, and
Okay.
it went kind of south, and because he was running my page, and he started like
Yeah.
lashing out against people. It was
Oh
horrible. I
wow.
had no idea that any of
Yeah.
this was going on, and it was really terrible.
Right.
So anyway, we got off Tumblr.
Yeah.
I should say he got off
He got off it. Yeah.
Tumblr. The fake me got off Tumblr, but for a while we were having a great time though,
Yeah.
pretending to prank people and stuff. So, but
Wow.
I
Yeah.
don't do it in my
You
normal
are. Yeah.
life.
Right.
No.
Exactly. Yeah. But great. I really appreciate your time tonight. This was great. I
Thank
mean, Grey
you.
Green. Everyone check that out. Can't wait for all the new albums in the next, couple of years.
Yes,
This
they're
was thanks.
coming. There's
Yeah.
coming one. Look out for the new one in October. It's called Don't Turn Around. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you
Yeah.
again.
Thank you so much. Have a great one.
And a special thanks to Grey for joining me today. Check out her website, GreyDeLisleGriffith.com. You can follow her on Facebook and Instagram, Grey DeLisle. And if you have a guest suggestion, hit me up on X, formerly Twitter, at @theFirstNoel19. Be sure to like the page Reliving My Youth on Facebook. Go to iTunes, check out all the past episodes we've had. While you're there, please rate and review the show. I'd really appreciate it. Don't have iTunes? Not a problem. Show's on SoundCloud, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon Music. Basically, where you can find a podcast. A new episode will come out next week. Before we go, rest in peace, Dolly Parton, Tim Curry, and now Peter Cullen. Stay safe, everybody. We'll see you then.